Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a fantastic day out there. As always, thank you so much for clicking the video. There are so many other places that you could be right now, and maybe those places you will go to after. Perhaps you've been there before, but I appreciate you in the present, in the moment, spending a little time with me. Today, we're going to give a listen. We're going to give a listen to Blue Oyster Cult. We're going to be listening to the track Flaming Telepaths. This is coming off the album Secret Treaties, which was released in 1974. We're giving this a listen as it was requested by Eric. So Eric, thank you so much for the recommendation and the support. I truly appreciate that. And then looking through the comments, I also see that this had been suggested by Zalmoxis, Cujo, Comrade Big Weld, Fortune Agent, and TMRNBN. So thank you guys as well. For that, I appreciate that. I've been enjoying the recent tracks that we've been listening to from the band, so I'm very curious to see how this one stacks up here as well. We're going to pull it up here over on YouTube and give it a listen. So first, we'll need our headphones, our handy-dandy headphones, and then we will absolutely go from there. Let's go ahead and dive on in, discuss it after. I'm maximizing full screening the page. Here we go. Buzzy synth swirling underneath the guitar riff.
Well, I've opened up my veins too many times, and the poison's in my heart and in my mind. Poison's in my bloodstream, poison's in my pride.
I like the cymbal
I'm
slashes
after
before.
rebellion, I'll settle for lies. Is it any wonder that my mind's on fire, imprisoned by the thought of what to do? Is it any wonder that I joke tonight, and the joke's on you?
What a fun riff of the synth, the guitar, and the piano.
Experiments that fail too many times, transformations that were too hard to find. Poison's in my bloodstream, poison's in my pride.
That's almost very Sabbath-esque.
I'm after rebellion, I'll settle for lies. Yes, I know the secrets of the iron mind. That Trinity acts a middle fire. Yes, I know the secrets of the signature mind. It's a flaming wonder telepath.
That swings and hits really nicely. Great drumming. I like how we're still following that riff in the verse here. like how he's constantly hitting that bell on the right a little bit more to give it that extra.
Well, I've opened up my veins too many times.
Man, that's that drumming.
And the poison's in my heart and in my mind. Poison's in my bloodstream. Poison's in my pride. I'm after rebellion. I'll settle for lies. Is it any wonder that my mind's on fire? Imprisoned by the thought of what to do. Is it any wonder that my joke's in eye? And the joke's on you. 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 And the joke's on you.
It's the drum and the
And the
kick.
joke's on you. And the joke's on you. And the joke's on you.
It's a madness.
And the joke's on you. And the joke's on you. And the joke's
Oh, so that's how that goes, huh? Ooh. I don't know what was next in the playlist, but it went to Ocean Gypsy from Renaissance. That's a great track. I think the first one we ever heard from them. Okay. I don't think I've heard a bad song from Blue Oyster Cult. I don't think I've heard anything bad at all from. This is a fantastic one once again. Can I say I love first of all, the big thing that stands out in the first part is the combination of the riff on the guitar and the synth. Those keyboards, that is tasty. I like how it has a heaviness to it, while at the same time involving a little bit of a psychedelic kind of sound to it. And it all just swirls into this heavy swing and sway with that riff, which is just absolutely fantastic. I love how they put that together. And I love how when it gets further on, of course, into the track later on, when we get into the first section of the solos, how the synth is allowed to kind of rise above that cadence of the guitar, of that riff, and do a little solo. Then you got the piano and such, but I like how that synth kind of like just comes out of it, basically at that particular point. I think that this was a really cool track in every single respect. I think it's funny how quickly it ended over there. Okay, so Alan Lanier on the keyboards here, the synths as well, and really like the touches that he performs there. And even when we get into the solo later on, it's not like some Jordan Rudess solo where it's like it's just a nice solo that elevates a little bit from the melody that was played and performed before. So I like how it actually makes sense in the context of the song and of the music. The drums from Bouchard are out of this world. I love the way he plays. I think that in listening to him here in this track, sure, but in previous tracks as well, I think that he's just such a standout in the band. I think that the grooves that he comes up with make a lot of sense in the music, and they work, obviously. But there's a lot of creativity in what he includes with the fills and how he provides a dynamic energy and movement to the music. So near the end of this track, for example, it's a small thing, but this is what I'm talking about. Near the end of the track, when they're kind of all bringing up the heat, so to speak, and rising to the end in that climax, he starts hitting the ride. He starts hitting the bell of the ride. Ba, 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 ba. And then as it's going on, like I said, it's a small thing, but then he just starts doubling it. Ba, 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 ba. Or he kind of gives it, he gives it not a double at that particular point, but he gives it a different pattern. And it's just that one detail that he just keeps on raising and raising and raising. And he didn't have to. It was already really exciting as it was. Let me pull up the track again so I can use the audio. I think that's actually in the last part. Let me get to the beginning of it. Here. See how he adds a little. And then. Now he sounds like he's singing a little bit more. He's just elevating it more and more. Right before that, he was just working on the crashes. He's working the fill right now. I don't know. I think that the way that he did that was like it's a small thing, but I can't speak in an overt way. But when it comes to like favorite drummers for me, I like drummers that work in subtlety and the details of the work, and push the creative groove just a little bit more. Not necessarily who can play the fastest, who can play the coolest fill, who can play on the biggest drum set. One of my favorite drummers is Nate Smith. Plays on like a tiny little drum set. Barely any toms on that thing, typically. But I just love that kind of, that attention to detail. And, okay, how can we fit this into the song? Figured it out. Easy. How can we use the drumming to elevate the song without taking, like, there's a certain art and a balancing act that I think that Bouchard does incredibly well here. And his fills are fantastic. Joe Bouchard on the bass, really nice as well. Love how he plays in the verse. Like, this is just a track that from beginning to end, it's just really, really good. And there's so much to listen to. I gotta tell you, I mean, I know like we've listened to a few tracks from the band on the channel. And in the recent times that we've listened to them here, I kind of feel like I need to pay more attention to the band, and I need to include them a little bit more regularly in the rotation, because I'm noticing I'm very impressed by their music, and I should be listening to them a little bit more, judging by what I've heard so far. And then I'm pulling up the song here again really quick. I like how in the chorus and in the verse, you could argue, but there's this really nice sectional change to everything. That little mellowed out there. That's cool. But I'm trying to find a particular point here before that. I know I'm playing the chord. Okay. Nice empty. That's a very Sabbath kind of feel right there. But then the way this note, that chord, is very interesting as a transitional chord and how that eventually leads into the chorus. Right before, they're kind of playing a little bit of a heaviness to it, and then they use I don't know what, scales and chords and stuff, but the way they did that was really cool. I love the harmonies from the rest of the band as well. Like, I'm just impressed. That's what this all comes down to. I'm impressed with the music, and I'm having a lovely time listening to it. They're fantastic. And they seem like one of those bands that, I don't know if this, maybe it's just because of me. I'm not going to say it. Never mind. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I was going to say that maybe they're one of those bands that, on a general scale, not just me, but on a general level, needs more attention given to them. But maybe I'm obviously the one that's not in the know. Not everyone else. All right, well, I've opened up my veins too many times, and the poison's in my heart and in my mind. Poison's in my bloodstream, poison's in my pride. I'm after rebellion, I'll settle for lies. Like, I'm wanting rebellion, I'm wanting to fight, but I'll settle for lies told to me, perhaps to pacify me in a sense. Is it any wonder that my mind's on fire, imprisoned by the thought of what to do? Is it any wonder that my joke's in ire, and the joke's on you? Like, his mind's on fire, not quite knowing what to do, where to go, what to think, how to act. Experiments that failed too many times, transformations that were too hard to find, poisons in my bloodstream, poisons in my pride. I'm after rebellion, I'll settle for lies. Yes, I know the secrets of the iron and mind. Their trinity acts a mineral fire. Yes, I know the secrets of the circuitry mind. It's a flaming wonder telepath. Eric did say that I would have some trouble with the lyrics. He did wish me luck. Because at first, when, the title Flaming Telepath and reading the lyrics, I'm kind of thinking like Well, he says he knows the secrets. He says he knows things. So perhaps in a sense, he's the telepath. And he says his mind's on fire, so he's flaming. His mind's on fire, not quite knowing what to do. He can read others, but perhaps in reading others in a particular way, literally or symbolically, it leads more confusion and more chaos internally in his own mind. But I don't feel like I'm even near, to be honest. Is it any wonder that my joke's in ire and the joke's on you? Songs. The transition between the tracks Harvester of Eyes and Flaming Telepaths was marked by a piece of classical music played on a music box. Okay, so that's what we heard. Members of the band recall that it was something the sound engineer had found on an unlabeled recording but couldn't identify it. The piece and composer were uncredited, but it has since been identified as an excerpt from a waltz by Ian Ivanovici called Waves on the Danube. So nothing about this particular track. But it's a good one. Let me know what you guys thought, of course, down below in the comments. I hope that you enjoyed the music. Hope that you enjoyed the reaction. Eric, thank you once again so much for the request and the support. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for being here. I will see you all later. Bye.